Hey now. Hey everybody, hang on, I'm getting there. Okay, get this show on the road. Well, hey everybody. I thought it'd be fun to just dust these guys off, literally and figuratively, and talk a little bit about them, show you how they work, and all that good stuff. So, thanks so much for being patient with me. I've got 5 different cabinets to show you today. I'm very excited about it. Some of these are better than others. Let's talk about them in turn. So, most of these are from Replicade. This guy is not, and I'll show you more about that. Obviously, these are 1/16 or one. I believe this is 1/16, and this is these are 1/16. This is 1/8, if I remember right in terms of the size. But I've been collecting these for just a little bit, and I'm really excited to share them with you. Hey now, Alex Lopez is here. So what these are pure arcade replicas. Now, these aren't running NES or gaming on a chip or anything. These are actually like the real arcade ROMs running on some sort of emulated system. Now, if you're here looking for a technical explanation or for me to rip the backs off of this and see what's inside, probably not going to happen. This is more of a show and tell thing than anything else. So let's start off with my very first one that I got, which of course was Dragon's Lair. And how could it not be, right? This, of course, I went and had signed by Don Bluth and Gary Goldman. So this is not just a regular prize, it's a big prize to be able to have this here. Of course, Dragon's Lair, I'm going to go ahead and unplug the power here. It's got a battery. It'll play for a while uncharged, but I've had it charging all night. So this was the one of the first Laserdisc games at the arcade. What you're seeing here is actually what you would see in the arcade back in the early 80s. It even has a fully working display, backlit marquee. It is in the original cabinet format, which is really, really cool. And yeah, you can see it all right here. And this is pretty much perfectly replicated. I can tell you as a Dragon's Lair fan, it is perfectly replicated. Let me turn this up here. I'm sorry, I'm doing this through my mic, so maybe you can hear, maybe you can't. So this is the attract mode. Of course, the game looks exactly the same. So these were known to be in Replicade. Their sort of reputation is this is the arcade game. Standard stencils. So let me show you the back here. I find this interesting. Hopefully my camera is well aligned here. Oh, that's not going to work out. Let me turn that down. So on the back, I find this very interesting that almost every one of these is a little bit different than the other one, and you'll see why in a minute. So this Dragon's Lair has a micro USB plug for charging, volume knob, a power switch, but this is an on-off power switch, not a momentary switch, but an on-off, up and down switch. You have a USB port for both players, so you can play 2 players, each one having their own controller, which is actually kind of cool. And if that wasn't enough, HDMI out, so you could literally put this on top of your TV, plug it into your TV, plug a couple of controllers in, and you're playing Dragon's Lair together on the big screen. I believe this is actually stereo out. There's 2 speakers. Because Dragon's Lair was a Laserdisc game, there's a little drawer down here that has a Laserdisc player in it, right? And this is what the Laserdisc players looked like. And inside, there's actually a little Laserdisc in there. How great is that? So when they say they're going to replicate it, they did the whole deal. This drawer, by the way, was famous for people kicking the side of the machine or hitting it and causing the game to glitch out. Arcade owners would have to go around and reset the damn thing when people got pissed off and started kicking the machine. So kind of neat, right? So this is sort of like, this is a flagship, right? So this has it all. Everything is here. I guess I didn't turn it back on. I think this coin door opens too, but you have to. I don't have any fingernails, so there's some coins, some tokens in there. I don't have any fingernails to get that open. So yeah, so pretty cool. It's got a basic boot screen for those of you who've never seen one. Of course, Digital Leisure owns all this stuff. And maybe we'll play one of these later, right? Based on what you guys want to see. So this was Dragon's Lair. Now, Dragon's Lair gets all the credit. Space Ace was always my favorite of the Laserdisc games. And here again, it is perfectly preserved. This is in the conversion cabinet where they used the red T molding, which I think is really, really cool. And again, same thing, fully working screen, or scoring screen, LED. And then, of course, it is a Laserdisc game, so you get the full meal game itself. Right, also got signed by Don Bluth and Gary Goldman. Same sort of side art, same oddball, bitched about by collectors bezel at the top. And I will unplug this guy. And again, we'll look at the back. Now, you're sitting there going, Shane, but this looks exactly like Dragon's Lair. And it does, it looks exactly like it, but there is a couple of things here worth noting, and again, I'm trying to figure out like why there would be a difference, right? So again, this has a USB-C charging port. Thank God, thumbs up. That is a change that everybody can get behind. You do have a USB 2, a USB 1, of course, and HDMI. Notice there's like these there's screws around there. There's actually something mounting them in there, which makes me wonder if maybe this isn't mounted as well as this one is. But yeah, now, and the other thing that I find really weird is this is a momentary switch, not a physical on-off switch. So you hold it down to turn it on or off, and then it goes back. So interesting choices that they made, and I'd be willing to bet that there's money behind it somewhere. It's probably cheaper or whatever. Here we also have, no, I never opened up my CD player for this. Well, that's fun. Let's do that together. So this is the Laserdisc player, still in the packaging. I never opened it. Why not do that together here? Right. No disc in there for this one yet. I must have that in the rest of the packaging in the back. But yeah, how cool is that? This one's black versus white. The inside of here, nothing in there. Probably has better better cushioning than the actual arcade game did. Yeah, so very cool. I'll turn this one back on and we'll put it in the background. Dragon's Lair here. All right, so we're down to 3. Let's talk about these. So Q*bert, everybody knows Q*bert, right? If you're even remotely interested in retro gaming, you know all about Q*bert. And of course, I have several times had the opportunity to interview, oops, stuff falling all over the place here. I've had ample opportunity to interview Warren Davis. By the way, this is his book, Creating Q*bert, Other Classic Video Games. If you're into retro stories, get this book, man. I was hooked cover to cover. But this came out just before that, and it went through a purchase process, and then it wasn't available. It came back for a while, and then I jumped on it. This has both Q*berts and Q*bert cubes, which is really cool that you kind of get both in the same cabinet. Again, the very distinctive nature of the cabinet is what we're looking at here. So you can tell they didn't just reuse the same cabinet structure for all of these. They really wanted to go authentic, even down to the panel, which is great. I love the panel. I love the little controls, which aren't as hard to play as you might think. So anyway, so Q*bert here has coin-ups here, which I thought was kind of cool. I think this one opens too, but I don't have the fingernails for it. Here's your side. It's even got a little, check this out, it's even got a little quality assurance sticker on it, which apparently is something that the original machines had. There you go. And now we have something significantly different here in the back. So back here we still have HDMI out, which is nice. A couple of USB ports. Unfortunately, I think this is micro USB charging, but I like this. This was cool. This was a little something different, this little lock on the back. Now you can't actually do anything with it, it's just there for looks. But again, a complete different choice of how to do power. So you do have your volume spinner, of course, and then you have a momentary, well, it's not momentary, it's an in or out switch. So right now it's out, so there is no power. Click it in and you'll get your boot sequence and the game will boot. How's my levels out there, Alex? You might be the only person in here. I'm not seeing much in the way of the chat. But anyway, all of the controls everywhere here work. So these aren't here just for show. So if I were to go back to Space Ace here, a lot of you know that Space Ace has 3 game levels, Cadet, Captain, and Ace level. Oops, I forgot. Let's see, hang on. No, back out of there. Okay. So hopefully this is coming out okay. Oops, I have the volume turned down. But see, when you start the game, it asks you what version you want to play. And if you don't choose in time, you get Cadet. So all of these work. Totally cool. I mean, I would have probably been pissed if they hadn't, if it was just there for show. But anyway, so that's kind of cool. Zoom back. Now, all of these have menus that you can go into and change whether you get a tracked mode sound. Let me shut that sound down. Whether you get a track mode sound or not, of course, all the marquees are backlit. I believe you can turn those off based on different menu items here. And this is really hard to set up and show you the menus. I have reviewed several of these. If you want to see what the menus look like and what your options are, please go back and look at some of those. Because right now, it's really hard to get all of this set up the way that it is to show this. But yeah, very cool. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, hey, Shane, Qbert had a very unique item. Inside the cabinet was a knocker from a pinball machine, right? When you got a free game or scored an extra credit, there'd be this loud racking sound on the side of the cabinet. This also has that. It's not an actual pinball knocker, but it does have a knocker inside the machine. And when the snake jumps off and hits the bottom, you will indeed hear that knocker go off. And if you've been listening while these things have been in a tracked mode, you'll hear it. Did you hear that? I have the volume all the way down. That's a physical piece of mechanical hardware in here that is making that knocker noise. And that is, dude, that's above and beyond the call, right? They could have made the knocker noise simulated inside with just audio, but they didn't. They actually put a physical mechanical device making knocking noises in there. I think that's great. That's so damn cool. Let me see here. I'm trying to see if there's anybody chatting, but it doesn't look like it, and that's okay. All right, let's go ahead and keep going because maybe somebody will watch this later. I didn't announce this one, so it's my own fault for not being able to get people in here. So that's Qbert, and again, has faster, harder, more challenging Qbert as well in there. Very cool. These things are impossible to get a hold of now, unfortunately. All right, so let's take a look at Missile Command. Now, God, my heart is torn on this guy. So, first off, Missile Command has to be played with a big giant trackball. And guess what? This does have a trackball, and the trackball does indeed work, making it possibly one of the most accurate missile commands of all time. You have 3 separate buttons, right? Plus your player 1 and player 2 buttons. And again, this was a chunky cabinet. This was a big, monster, chunky cabinet when it came out. And again, as you would expect, beautiful side art. These aren't stickers, by the way. I believe Space Ace and Dragon's Lair are stickers. This was not part of the panel. And again, we look at the back here, and again, we've taken sort of a different approach. I love, by the way, the Atari stickers. Fan-frickin-tastic. I love that. But again, we have, I think this is a mono. We have a charger of a USB, or a micro USB again, what the hell. And then again at the top, we have a volume. Oh, there you go. Turn that up. Have your volume knob and your power, which I think this is the momentary switch. Let's find out. Yeah, so, so unlike Qbert, which was a click in, on, click out, off, this is actually a momentary switch. So none of them are the same. So if I were to hold that guy down, it would eventually shut off. powering off. And you can tell this is Android based, right? Anybody who has an Android, you know what that power off is, which I find very interesting because I don't think these are Android based, but this one apparently is. Sometimes I wish I would take these things apart. Sorry for the dust, folks. These things are up on display all the time. Sometimes I wish I had it double, two of each one so I could take it apart and show you, but I don't. So let's take a look at, so this is a New Wave boot. These might be, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Now here's what really turned me off about this particular cabinet. Why I sort of neglect it. I love Missile Command, which is why I bought the game, right? Unfortunately, they decided to put this weird, sorry for the dust, they put this weird, I don't even know, I don't remember what they call it, but it's essentially like a simulator. Let me see if I can get this up to you. I'm sorry, there's a delay. Damn dust, this was just from yesterday, right? They put some sort of CRT simulator on here. It's a piece of plastic that sort of distorts and wraps the screen. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't like it. I wish it were optional and I could take it off, but I don't believe that you can. So while this is great, it's beautiful. The trackball is freaking amazing. Unfortunately, that screen just makes me mental. I have a lot of trouble with it. So, but yeah, otherwise, I mean, brilliant job. I mean, and I believe the next one they did also used this same CRT simulator. I wish we could have a vote or get one without it, but c'est la vie, that's the way that is. So, all right, I'm gonna put this guy to the back. All right, so now the 800-pound elephant in the room, Zookeeper. Now, I did reviews of most of these, I think, and Zookeeper especially. First off, hey, calm down over there. All right, so Zookeeper is, in fact, probably in my top 5 arcade games of all time. You're going, dude, how can that be true when there's like, when nobody's heard of it, right? Nobody's heard of Zookeeper other than me and like 5 people. So how can it be your favorite game of all time when I've never heard of it, I've never seen one? That's unfortunate for you that you have not gotten to see one or play one. This game is all about greed, and I've talked about greed and how this game is basically, if you look up greed in the dictionary, it should have a picture of this cab on it, because that's what it's all about, is greed in the gameplay. So, but let's talk about this as a cabinet. Now, most of these were conversions, and I've seen 2 in the wild in my entire life. One was at a bus terminal while I was waiting to catch a bus to see my grandma or something, and I put like every penny I had into this damn game. And I thought for a while that maybe I just made it up in my head. Now, remember, this is before the internet and all that good stuff. But I thought maybe I just made it up. And it was in my head that I played some game where you run around trying to capture animals inside. And I remember it being so great. But I've only seen a couple of them out and about. And the ones that I do remember were conversions. This one, look at this, beautiful. This is a beautiful cabinet. The backlit marquee, everything is great. Look at the side art. It's freaking awesome. Great side art, not stickery. It's no air bubbles or anything. Unfreaking believable, right? And so we'll look at the back. And I think this is really cool too. So this is done by Numbskull Designs. They were selling under Quarter Arcade or something like that. I can't remember. But when I saw this go on sale, this guy was not cheap, folks. These things ran about $150. This was like $250. But unfortunately, when it's like one of your all-time favorite games, you have to buy it. And I did. And here we go. I like that they have these vents in here from the old arcade days. This actually has 4 screws where there would normally be screws to hold this back and a key lock. So they did a really good job with that. Here's that other vent down below that was also very common where the power and the arcade boards would be. This one has a volume, oh, there we go. I'll leave that on for a minute, a battery indicator and a Type-C connector. Thank you. And this one is a solid on and off switch as well. So yeah. If nothing else, you have to admit it has one of the most unusual sounds of any game. Normally, like the Williams, let me turn this down a little bit so I'm not yelling over it. Usually the Williams games check in for having the absolute greatest audio, strange audio, weird audio. This might beat all Williams hands down. It even has the kickboard down here. Like I said, they did a full meal job on this guy. Now, the biggest, unfortunately, what makes this a sad story is that there is a control problem. You can overcome it, but you have to learn how to play again. So if you've played this at the arcade or on MAME or whatever, and you're used to this working a certain way, you may find problems with the way that you play, unfortunately. And they've come out and said they are not going to fix it. So what I've got is as good as I can get of Zookeeper. And listen, it's just as a set piece, it's amazing. If I'm going to play it, I'd probably play it on my Steam Deck. So anyway, yeah, so there's Zookeeper. Gorgeous, beautiful, huge, heavy. It's almost the weight of a real arcade cabinet. No, that's not true. But yeah, these are my prized possessions. And I'm very excited to have them, of course, and having, of course, with Space Ace signed by Gary Goldman and by Don Bluth. He also did this one in red to match the T molding. You'll notice that he did the other one in gold, which is, if you've ever had anything signed by Don Bluth or Gary Goldman, you know that they love their gold, what do they call those? Not Sharpies, but liquid Sharpies or whatever they call it. So yeah, I'm truly blessed to have the opportunity to own these, and I'm very thrilled to be able to share them with you. You know, I didn't even notice that this was backlit too. That's really weird. You would have thought I'd have caught that, but I did not until just now. But anyway, so there we have it. These are my mini arcade cabinets. Far cry from the Coleco tabletop days, am I right? So very blessed to be able to have these and to be able to share them with you today. If you have any questions in the chat, I'll take those. Otherwise, we're gonna make this a short day. I'm gonna turn the audio up so that we really get ourselves an arcade feeling here. I'll set these all up to make noise. Proper. Some of them are louder than others. Oh, I think this one's still playing a game. Hang on, we can fix that. See, that powering off looks a lot different than the Android one, right? Power that guy back up. There we go. So now we have, you know, there are wave files going around forever back in the old days about the arcade ambiance, right? You could probably go find one right now if you wanted to. But here we go. Now you actually have true arcade ambiance right here while we're sitting here, as soon as Space Ace comes back up. How cool, right? Well, listen, if you enjoy what we're doing here, like, subscribe, hit the bell. You guys know what to do. Of course, share this with somebody that you think might love it. All that stuff helps the algorithm and it certainly helps the channel. So I appreciate everybody. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. I'll leave you with this for just a few moments. Why is this Space Ace not coming up? It'll be like that. There we go. It's not designed to be played off of battery forever, but long enough to play. By the way, little side note before we leave you to this. When I went to see Bluth and Goldman to have them sign these, their handlers and the people that were working with him had never seen these working units before, which makes me crazy, but you know, it's a gig, right? You handle them, you sign stuff, and that's it. So very cool. I'll leave these here for you for a minute, and then I'll power down, and you guys have a great rest of the weekend.
Struggle with Dexter to regain his manhood. Destroy the Infernal Rays. Defeat the evil boy.